Hello everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. This is video number 3 in the road trip series where I talk about things that have happened on road trips and how to prevent them from happening. Now, this story is going to sound somewhat similar to the last story where we got a new vehicle and had an issue with it. Let's fast forward a year or two later from the last video. My parents decided to get a new van. Not a minivan, but an actual big van. And then go on a road trip. So we started on this road trip in this nice new van. It had screens inside it where we could watch movies. It was a really awesome van. And we started driving on the trip. Now, this trip was supposed to be 2 weeks long and go across multiple states. And we made it into the neighboring state, but quite a ways away from our hometown. And we needed to fill up for gas. Well, we're in the middle of nowhere, town, middle of America, and go to the gas station. My dad was watching, the gas gauge to make sure we weren't going to run out of gas. He goes to fill it up and the pump cuts off. He's like, why did the pump cut off? I need gas. I'm getting close to empty. I need gas. Well, he thought, okay, something is wrong with this pump. I'll pull up to the next little pump at the gas station. Check out that one. He does the same thing and it cuts off. It only gets a little bit of gas in there and then cuts off. And so he's like, well, maybe it's this gas station. So he drives to the other side of the road, which in America, a lot of times when you pull off of highways or freeways, there are gas stations right there on both sides of the road, which is very convenient. However, just know that those gas stations have higher gas prices versus if you were to go further in off the freeway. But anyway, he goes across the street, tries to get gas, pumps. Again, only a little bit of gas gets into the car or into the van, and then it cuts off. And he's like, what is going on? He tries a different pump at that one. And again, same thing. He's like, what on earth is going on? Why can I not get gas into my vehicle? So he's like, okay, what can I do? He goes in, talks to the people at the gas station and finds where the closest mechanic is. And of course, we're hoping we can make it there because we're low on gas. He goes to the mechanic and we're sitting in the van. It's hot. He doesn't want to start the van because it's going to run gas and then we're really going to be out. So we're sitting there as kids. I remember it was hot and we're like, this is not vacation. But he talks to the mechanic and the mechanic gives him a solution. We had to go to a nearby store and buy one of those red gas cans, the actual emergency gas cans, and the only one that they had was fairly small. And the mechanic told him to fill up that little individual gas can and then pour that in manually into the van. So we're at this gas station and this gas can only holds 5 gallons of gas, but the van holds a lot of gallons of gas. So he's having to fill up the manual gas can, then from there, fill up the actual van and do it over and over and over again until the van actually filled up with gas. Turns out that sometimes when you buy a new vehicle and it has gas in there, it can cause a bubble to get into the gas line. And what that means is you have the gas that's in there and there's a little bubble that's trapped. And whenever you go to a gas station and you have a high power gas pump, because think about it, it only takes a couple of minutes to fill up your car at a gas station because it's high power, it's pushing it in. That gas is coming in and hitting that bubble and it's saying, okay, it's full. It can't go any further. It thinks that this line where the gas is, because there's a bubble beneath it, that's the max, it's full. And so the only way to get around that is to manually fill up slowly the gas until that bubble rises to the very top and then bursts. Once the bubble is out of the gas line, then going forward, you can actually use the pump at the gas station that is high powered. But we didn't know that. Learn something new about cars all the time. And it ended up costing us basically at least a half a day, if not almost a full day of our trip, driving from gas station to gas station, driving to the mechanic, having them look at it, driving to the store to get the gas can, and then having to manually fill the gas tank. It just kind of put a damper on the trip at the beginning. The rest of the trip turned out fine and we were able to pump gas like normal, but it could have all been avoided if we had either known that before or if we had had a manual gas can in the vehicle to begin with. And that's one reason I wanted to share these videos, is if you're going on a road trip and things can happen, one thing you might want to have in your vehicle is one of those small manual gas cans. You could be going and not pay attention to your gas tank and run out of gas in the middle of nowhere and there's no gas stations nearby. It's nice to have that gas in your car just to get you to the closest gas station. Or if you're going and you don't want to keep gas in your car as a safety hazard, at least have the can in the car to prevent you from having to go buy the can and then fill it up. I hope this video has helped people understand that things can go wrong when you are driving your vehicle on a road trip, and it's always best to be prepared for anything that can go wrong with your vehicle. Keep a manual gas can in the trunk of your car. Keep a little small toolbox with things that you might need for repairs on your car, and always keep an actual map with you. I know in my car I have a book map of all of the United States. That way, if for some reason the GPS goes out or I can't get a signal, whatever it may be, I still have a map that I can look at and see on how to get from point A to point B. It's always best if you're doing a road trip to be prepared ahead of time, because anything can happen. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you want to know when the next video comes out, then subscribe. And if you've had issues with getting gas in your car whenever you have traveled, then feel free to leave a comment below. And I look forward to seeing everyone in the next video where we talk about road trip horror story number 4. But until then, bye!